Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, so the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, and how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. You know me by now. It's been over 200 episodes. I'm Seth, your host with the most, and I have Paige Arnof-Fenn. I think I said that right?
Awesome.
Perfect. Paige is the founder and CEO of a global marketing and branding firm called Mavens and Moguls, based in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So pretty much next to Boston, but where Harvard is, essentially is. She actually went to Harvard. She went to Stanford. Smart cookie over here. So she's worked with Microsoft, Virgin, the New York Times Company, Colgate, venture-backed startups, as well as nonprofits. And she's also served on several boards. She's a popular speaker, and she's also a columnist, so she doesn't sleep at all. So she doesn't sleep. She just doesn't sleep. She's written for Entrepreneur and Forbes, to name a few. And, let's rock and roll. So, Paige, how you doing?
Doing great. Thank you, Seth, for having me. I'm excited to chat with you today.
Oh, awesome. So how did this all get started? Have you always wanted to be in marketing? Or I think I looked at your LinkedIn. You've done the corporate grind for a while. You were VP of marketing at Inc. You're VP of marketing and CMO at Zipcar now, which is not Evis, which is kind of like less exciting. I mean, Zipcar is kind of cooler brand than Evis. But you also, you were also SVP of marketing at Launch Media, which was went public, then sold to Yahoo. So now, who knows where it is now? Because who knows where Yahoo is now? But yeah, go figure, right?
Exactly.
So how did you find your way into entrepreneurship?
Through the back door. I mean, I think looking back, isn't it Steve Jobs who said, you can connect the dots going backwards, but when I was a student, I thought I was going to be corporate America all the way. I looked at people like Meg Whitman as my role models. I wanted to be kind of a Fortune 500 CEO, run a big company, big brand. And I started my marketing career at big companies like Procter & Gamble and Coca-Cola. So as you said, I started on a very traditional corporate path. Big consumer products, brands that are sold all over the world, some of the most recognized brands in the world. And then when the internet started taking off in the mid to late 90s, I got bitten by the .com bug. And all those startups you were rattling off. Yeah, I ended up leaving my big cushy corporate job and running marketing at 3 consecutive startups that all had good exits. And then right after 9/11, you're probably old enough to remember, marketing kind of got
I was a sophomore in college.
Yeah. So I was already in the working world, and, marketing jobs disappeared after 9/11 because the stock market went crazy and all these companies worried they were not going to be able to raise money again. And I hung out a shingle to turn into a, consultant, and thinking I'd do it for a little while. And that was 22 years ago. So here I am, still going strong.
That's awesome. That's kind of how it happens. I mean, Goldstein Media started out, I left journalism and needed to figure out something, to do. And I was doing marketing in college a little bit. And I decided, let me hang out my shingle to get a job. Never did. And 16 years later, I'm still doing it. I'm still kicking. So it's wild. So you've done a lot, and you're also a keynote speaker. So what's that like? That's a whole other beast, being a keynote speaker.
No, I didn't start out as a keynote. I started out on a panel, just being one of the many.
Yeah.
Chiming in. I moderated panels. And then as I got more comfortable, I started being kind of a baby speaker at a bigger conference, maybe in one of the breakout rooms with smaller
Yeah.
audiences.
Baby speaker. I
And
like
then I
that. I like that.
and
Baby
then I
speaker.
kind of worked my way up the food chain. And yeah, I've keynoted at some really awesome events. And as you get more comfortable, I think you build your confidence and you kind of know what works for you. You figure out your style. Like I'm not a big PowerPoint user. I like to, walk
You're more of a
around.
talker.
Sorry.
You're more of a talker. Yeah.
I'm a big
Talk with our
talker.
hands. Yeah, exactly. We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
And I like telling stories, kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think that's what people can really relate to. So I'm not somebody who puts on like a formal presentation with lots of bells and whistles.
Okay.
I like a mic where you can walk around the audience and talk to people and, really relate to people on a
Mhm.
more direct level. Um, but and now I
Yeah.
love being on podcasts. I like doing virtual conferences. I think we all got a lot more comfortable during the pandemic. And it's
Yeah.
so nice to not have to be able to not need to travel to go, I've spoken at conferences all over the world during the pandemic as virtual events kind of took off. So that's been really nice. I love
Yeah.
it.
That's fine because you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Professional on top, PJs on the bottom. No one's the wiser. That kind of thing. It's great.
You got it.
Exactly. So, what's the best thing about being an entrepreneur versus being in the corporate world in your mind?
Well, I guess there are a lot of great things. The best is probably that, like, you own it. It stops with you. It starts with you.
Yeah.
There are no excuses,
Yeah.
when you're working for a big company, you're not always doing what you think is best or what your, crazy idea is that you want to test or learn from. But when it's your company, when the buck stops with you, it's up to you. And I love that. I mean, a lot of people might be stressed out or feel the pressure, but I think that's kind of gets my adrenaline going and it gets me excited to be
Yeah.
creative, to try something completely crazy, see if it works. And if it doesn't work, try and figure out why it didn't work and try something else. I really like kind of having my
Mhm.
feet to the fire. And
Pivot.
yeah, it's just, I'm sure you feel the same way when
You
it's,
pivot. Yeah.
yeah, when it's your business, you figure it
Absolutely. It's
out.
constant.
Exactly.
That's wild. So then what keeps you up at night? What's the scariest thing about being an entrepreneur?
Oh, I don't know. After 22 years, not much. When my head hits the pillow, I'm exhausted, to be totally honest. Um, I don't know. I mean, I think in this world that we live in with artificial intelligence and everything at internet speed, it's exhausting. And you have to be on every minute of every day to kind of keep your antenna up, following the trends, staying up on what's new, what's working, what's not working. I was just reading an article this morning about all the new words that were added to the dictionary for 2024. And I'm shocked at how many
Um,
of the words I didn't even, it hadn't hit my radar yet. So I think, you know, I love
like
the fact
Riz is the new
you're
one.
always learning and growing and trying to figure out kind of what's new, what's working, what's not working, why is it working, why is it not working, and that's what keeps it fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And Riz, I think Riz, the charisma, but Riz is the new word of the
Yeah, I
I think
saw
of
that.
last
That
year
one I
was
knew. That one
Riz.
I heard
You've
of.
got Riz.
You got it.
Oh, more than I did. I was like, what's Riz? Ugh. Turns out it was a positive term. At first I wasn't sure what to make of that word. I was like, what? But apparently it's a word, so we'll go with it, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. So what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
To carry with you all the time, I think a great
Yeah,
attitude.
so it can be woo woo. Yeah, it can be woo woo or it can be service, it can be both. So
I mean, I think having a great attitude, kind of a can-do attitude and a growth mindset will take you very far.
Love it.
You always want to learn and grow. And, if you have a growth mindset, you see the world in a way where, you and I don't have to be in competition just because we both, live in the digital marketing world. There's a way where
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
we can both win. We can both, bake more pies and create more exciting stuff for the world. And I see people that have kind of more of a um, positive attitude and see opportunities and not challenges, just do better, I think, and they're happier and they're more successful.
That's awesome. I mean, that's really what you need to have. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, when they come out of in the world, they're like, everyone's up against me. It's a fight. It's the survival of the fittest. And it's such an old mentality. Whereas now it's like, you look at it and, marketers can work together. Sometimes, solo
Absolutely.
practitioners need more support on stuff.
Without a doubt. No, I mean,
It just seems
you
to work.
know, life
Yeah,
is not a zero-sum game. If you win, it doesn't mean I lose. We can both win.
absolutely. So Paige, where does your name Waterhole online? Like, where do you hang out the most?
Uh, I'm really a LinkedIn fan. I am not all over the place by any means. Some buddies of mine in college,
Strategic. Yeah.
very, very focused, very streamlined. Some buddies of mine in college co-founded LinkedIn, so I was aware of it before it kind of exploded, and I really started there, and it kind of does it all for me. I don't feel the need to be on X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it, Snap,
Right.
Pinterest, Facebook. My clients are not looking for me in all these other platforms. I think LinkedIn
Mhm.
is the way you build trusted relationships in a digital economy before people want to talk to you or hire you or return your phone call or meet you for lunch or coffee. They're going to Google you
Absolutely.
and check you out. And 9 times out of 10 in my business, they're going to look for you on LinkedIn. And if they don't know anybody that that's going to raise a red flag. But you and I know a ton of people in common.
Absolutely.
We have a lot of overlap
Yeah.
in our works. And so that builds trust because people I know and respect are on your LinkedIn. And so I think, wow, Seth looks like a really good guy. He's someone I should know. I want to reach out because,
Yeah.
people that vouch for me, vouch for you. And that's a good sign.
It is. It's great. So Paige, this has been so much fun. I told you it was going to be a quick podcast because it's bite-sized. The whole idea of this podcast is I don't want to ramble for an hour because it's supposed to be a small commute or a commute to your downstairs office or whatever, like something people can snack on and get some good insights. So thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Everyone go check out Paige on LinkedIn, and then all her links are over there. And the links will be in the show notes as well. And connect with Paige. She's wonderful.
Thank you, Seth. Really fun chatting with you today. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please review us in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps other podcast listeners find our show. If you're looking for other podcasts in the marketing space, look no further than the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode.